Okay, so my name is Tobechi Chukwuleta. I'm a software developer. Um, so over the past 4, 5 days, we've been engaging with developers. You've probably seen Btrust outside, people have asked questions, all right, and, talking about what we do. But right now, I'm just going to expand more on a bigger audience, what Btrust is about, and how Btrust is building out Africa developer ecosystem in Africa and in Global South. Okay, so Btrust. Now, Btrust is NGO. Btrust is non-for-profit. Its main goal of Btrust is to decentralize open source development, Bitcoin open source development, particularly in Africa and Global South. Global South, Brazil, India, you can name it, all right? But because we are in Lagos, the focus is going to be on Africa, particularly in Africa. And how does Btrust do this? First, we locate. I think this is part of why we are here at DevFest Lagos, looking out for developers to come on board, join us, learn, about Bitcoin development as a career path. Then we educate. Yes, we've gathered you. All right, what next? We have training sessions, pathways, fellowship, bootcamp, you can name it. The goal is to take people, all right, developers specifically, from zero knowledge in Bitcoin development up to the point whereby they are building products or they are contributing to open source softwares or open source Bitcoin softwares. And here, finally, we don't just teach, we also support developers and projects in the ecosystem, all right? We give grants to open source developers contributing to Bitcoin, all right, considering the work that they are doing. So just a brief intro, just a brief picture. Remember Bernard mentioned that, BitNob is running the highest node from Nigeria. So this, in 2021, is a representation of all Bitcoin nodes globally. If you zoom in, clearly you can't see Nigeria up to BitNob and here African free routing. But this is the problem, because why is it that if we mention Bitcoin is a global money, like we like to call it, why is it that majority of the decisions in terms of development down to the protocol level of Bitcoin are done miles away from here, all right? People building, adding new features, whatever it is directly on Bitcoin, are literally not in Africa. But now the small caveat is most of the use cases that Bitcoin solves, it's actually needed here in Nigeria, all right? First of all, we have the problem of inflation. 1 million 3 years ago is not 1 million today. Literally 1 million, what 1 million could buy some years back is not the same with what 1 million could buy. We also have problems of big fintech giants shutting down their doors to Nigeria, e.g. PayPal, PayUna, Wise, name it. Once you mention Nigeria, they're out, their hands are out, all right? Hence, why is this important to us? Why is this important to us? Because you would agree with me if I say that the strength of a product is in the diversity and the use cases that the product delivers. Simply put, you cannot tell the African story more than us. If we say that Bitcoin is literally for African markets, then Africa should also be in the forefront in terms of development of this protocol or of this software, all right? We should have more and more people. So while big fintech companies are shutting their doors, there is Bitcoin, flipping the switch, like we saw with BitNob, whereby through Bitcoin, they're able to build payment rails from Nigeria to different countries, not having to depend on permission or anything with other companies. And this is something that piqued the interest of two amazing individuals, Jay-Z and Jack Dorsey, and they came together, brought funds together, and the goal was to build out development ecosystem for Bitcoin or for developers in areas whereby Bitcoin are not necessarily represented. And the funds, the coming together led to what we call today as Btrust. So Btrust is that trust, all right, that is carrying out this objective, bringing representation from the global South and Africa in terms of Bitcoin development. And we have the initial donation for this trust was 500 Bitcoin, all right. 500 Bitcoin, train as many as you can, get involvement from different developers across the world, all right? And we have currently these people sitting at the board members, pushing the agenda with Abubakar, who was recently announced as the CEO of Btrust. So Btrust, 500 Bitcoin for guide members. And the goal is still the same thing, to locate. Now, through location, we are sponsoring conferences. Today, we are in DevFest Lagos. About 2 weeks ago, we were in DevFest Mauritius. A couple of months ago, some of you saw us as Oscar Fest. All right. We also run smaller Bitcoin development meetup across the world, but Btrust is particular about this meetup in Africa. So we have BDevs meetup in Lagos, Nairobi, Kampala, Cairo, Abuja, you can name it. Now, beyond just location, we also educate. We have Btrust Builders, which is like the development arm or the training arm of Btrust as a organization, where we have different pathways. Now, the goal of these pathways is to meet individuals according to their different needs. So whether you are someone with zero experience, especially in terms of Bitcoin development, or someone that has previously done something with Bitcoin, there is always a pathway for you. And then we remunerate. We issue grants. At the moment, in Africa, we have about 30 to 50 developers that Btrust currently supports with grants. All right. Just to speak about one of the pathways or something that we are heavily involved with, because Btrust is centered around open source technology. There is a program we run which we call FOSS. How many people know FOSS, open source generally? Yeah, free open source software. So it's bringing open source and Bitcoin, and we call it BOSS. Now, BOSS is a minimum 3-month intensive training whereby we gather developers from across Africa and the global South. The goal is to train them with first we give them all the necessary resources they need to learn about Bitcoin development, and then train them. And beyond just training them, eventually you get to support these developers. All right. It's a fellowship. It usually happens once in a year, and the next set should start in January. All right. We'll be rolling out application for the BOSS program in the next couple of weeks. And that is why, for those of you that were at the Btrust booths, once you scan the link, most of the things we asked was to follow us on socials and the rest, so that when programs like this are coming up, you are aware or you are involved and you're able to apply and yes, join the train of Bitcoin development. So keep an eye for the application for the BOSS program. And so what else does Btrust offer developers? First of all, you get the opportunity to learn about Bitcoin, all right? What Bitcoin is about, theoretical knowledge, every information you ever need about Bitcoin. Now, you carry on the learning of Bitcoin and you take it further to building on top of Bitcoin, all right? Btrust we have a large community, so who are here to support you. So in case you are encountering whatever thing you encounter during the process of development, we have a wide network to support you, mentors, guidance, and what have you. Then with this, you are able to build your products, or you're able to contribute to the ecosystem, all right? You're able to solve a solution, creating a means for you to earn through Bitcoin, all right? But if it's open source, that's your thing, you could also have the privilege to, get rewarded with grants, whereby you also earn with Bitcoin. And then, which is one of the biggest things, you get to connect to other Bitcoiners from Africa. Remember, I said Btrust is African focused. We're presently literally in almost all African countries. So you're not just building for yourself, all right? You get to network with people from Johannesburg, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Harare, and the rest of it all. Now, this is a small fraction of products that has come out from the development in Btrust. All right, we have Mavapi. I think in about 30 minutes in Cinema 3, they have like a workshop session on what Mavapi is about. Mavapi is a Nigerian fintech. If you want to learn more, just make yourself available by 3:40. We have Splice, Kando, Bitsaco, Bitspender Ghana, Bitsaco Tando from Kenya. So I was in Nairobi last year, and I could literally say all throughout my stay in Nairobi, I didn't have to exchange money. I literally used Tando for every day-to-day payment that I was doing, from Uber rides to market women and whatsoever. So these are kind of solutions that are coming out from the Bitcoin ecosystem. And so what comes next? All right. For 4 years, we've been building out the developer ecosystem, and moving forward from 2026, some of what we are trying to achieve is getting more maintainers from the continent, more builders, more developers. And this is why we are here reaching out to developers in DevFest Lagos, getting to build more localized tooling and education, more African-led open source projects, all right, including Bitcoin Core if possible, all right, catering to community needs from fintech to health to construction to energy to identity, whatever. More institutions willing to fund and support these developments, all right, and there definitely more collaboration from developers across Africa. Africa is big, Africa is wild, all right. You really do not know the product you think you are building, someone else is facing the same thing in whatever country it is. And this collaboration foster growth, economic growth across country. So if this is your vibe, I welcome you to scan the QR code. This QR code will pretty much lead you to our website, whereby you can get all the information that you ever need for Btrust, information about our programs, information about the communities we support, the BDevs organization, the grants, blogs, whereby, some of the developers that has passed through right through their journey, or they write about certain concepts, new or existing in Bitcoin, whatever you have. So please do scan. 10 seconds. Yeah. Because of time, because I don't mind taking questions. You can also go to the website btrust.tech. Follow us on all social media. Btrust Builders, Btrust team on X, Instagram, LinkedIn. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause. Thank you so much. Do we have any questions? We'll take 2 questions if you have any questions for him. Anyone in the house? Okay, we have one person there. Are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Are you?
No.
Can we see your hand if you have any questions, please? Okay, we have someone here. The mic.
Hi. So my name is Ogaji Olarawaji. I run an AI lab. So my question is around Bitcoin here. We understand it's a whole lot of good stuff. But don't you think the idea of Bitcoin is just a recreation of digital gold? And the fact that you mentioned that this solution is far much more better for Africa, it helps us solve a whole lot of the inability to move money. But the idea that it's a digital gold, which means I am truly just trying to recreate gold in itself as a digital chemistry. You get like write gold again, because the idea is to recreate what money is. If you understand fundamentally how money itself was created before we had fiat. you know, don't you think it's an illusion for Africa in terms of there's gold, which is the real money, like money is gold, technically, not technically, money is gold, That's why human being throughout our lifespan, we've always had this thing for gold. Money is gold. We have gold in the ground, yeah? But someone is selling you the idea of a digital copy, which means, see, forget money and use this one as money because it solves all the problem. So my question is, why don't we just tokenize gold and, create the same infrastructure instead of having a digital protocol that is trying to recreate money? That is really not gold, but trying to also do the same thing that gold does. Just a curious question.
Okay. So I want to ask you back the question. Are you sure it's possible to tokenize gold
Yes, this is something we're already
in
doing.
this economy that we have?
Oh, yes.
with
That's
this
not an
government?
issue. It's not a government. So I like what you said. Government is a people thing. Yeah, it's like
Or who controls
the technology. Sorry, your question.
Yeah.
The old technology is that the technology to do this is available right now. Tokenization one-to-one for anything is possible. In fact, a good example, Tether, USDT, the real owner of stablecoin that we all use today as an alternative to Bitcoin, is literally also tokenizing gold. That's Ox Gold. The same company has a gold tokenization one-to-one for gold. So it's possible. Why are we not literally? I like Bitcoin. I love the entire idea. I'm just like, this is not me trying to ask one question. I'm just,
Yeah, I get you. So I'm just going to take like some points from what Bernard spoke about. Permissionless. All right. Gold is controlled. Bitcoin is not. That's one difference. I mean, it's controlled. So even if you are going to tokenize gold, eventually it's going to be controlled because you're going to peg it to original gold, which is controlled. So token or no token to eventually get controlled. All right. Bitcoin doesn't do that. Bitcoin is self-sovereign. Your Bitcoin is your Bitcoin. Nobody has power over it. All right. Gold is money, good and fine. But at the same time, because it is controlled by people, government, economy, and the rest, there is also an inflation problem that affects gold. Literally, no difference. If you look at it logically, there is literally no difference between gold and naira, apart from the value. That is what? Are you sure? Can you check the value of gold years ago and the value of gold now? Yeah. Okay. So because of time, gold is actually inflated. All right. You can actually check that. All right. But this is inflated. Bitcoin is not. So these are like major differences that we have. All right. Bitcoin is self-sovereign. Bitcoin is your coin. Bitcoin is money to the people. It's freedom money away from the power of people. All right. We saw a use case with NSAS whereby it became a problem with Nigerian government to control when money started moving in Bitcoin. But it wasn't the same for fiat. It would have been the same for gold, but it's not the same for Bitcoin. So there are several other use cases, all right? But one major one is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is self-sovereign. Gold is literally fiat with a very high value, all right? And it's controlled. Bitcoin isn't, at least for the base. I think we can, because of time, maybe we can talk about that later.
All right, please, a round of applause for Tobechi. A round of applause. Thank you very much, sir.